welcome to Class Soulmates. My name is Justice. Welcome to my channel. If you're a returning subscriber, welcome once again. If you're about to subscribe, please go ahead and hit the subscription button so that you get notified whenever I upload a new video. Okay, so let's go right into the class. Now, in this class, we're going to be learning how to make a long flay skirt using the Ankara material. This is very important because we know that the Ankara material is not long enough to cover a long skirt. Okay, so we're going to be learning how to make it so that we get the length of the skirt that we want. If you want to attach it to make a gown, then it's up to you. You can also decide to make it just a skirt. We're going to be making a 180-degree flay using the Ankara material. Okay, so now I'm going to be demonstrating to us what we're going to do, but then before we start, so that all of us can understand, I'm going to use a piece of paper to demonstrate or show us the calculations that we need before we proceed to using the fabric to actualize what we've calculated. Okay, so let's go right on the table. We all know that the Ankara fabric is not long on the crosswise grain. This is the selvage, this is the length, and this is the cross. Okay, this is where we measure the yardage that we want. So seeing this, and of course when cutting a long flay skirt, it's not possible to get everything complete. It must have a joining. Now for us to cut what we saw on the thumbnail, a long Ankara skirt, flay skirt at that, I'm going to cut it into two. This is the measurement that we're going to be working with. We're working with the waist of 34 plus seam allowance on both sides because we're going to be cutting it into two. That's seam allowance of 4 inches. Okay, and that will give us 38 inches. Now the zipper allowance is going to be added while we are cutting this only at the back. The length we're working with is 41. Okay, so like I said, we're going to be cutting into two for front and back. All together we'll be having 180-degree flay, but we're going to cut it into two, and so we're cutting 90 90, and we're going to be folding into two this way. This is our fabric. We're folding it into two like so. So once we fold this way, you can see that this part is not meeting up, but then let's get the circumference and then we know how to complete this other part. Now 38 divided by 2, that will give us 19. This 19 is for the front part of the skirt, and so we're equally going to divide 19 into 2 because this flay is folded into 2. This fabric or this paper is folded into 2, so we're dividing 19 into 2, and that will give us 9.5. So we're going to place our 9.5 this way. Remember, this is the front. We've not added our zipper allowance for the back. This is where we have 9.5. So once I have this mark here, I'm going to measure from this point to where the mark is. I have 12 inches. So I'm going to measure the 12 inches round. I'll measure 12 inches round. And this is my radius. Now from here, I'm going to measure the length of the skirt that I want. I said we need 41. So from this point, I'm using the centimeter part so that we can actually say it in a way that it fits an adult. So from here, I'm going to measure my 41. Looking at this, you can see that the fabric is not complete, but I'm still going to measure it that way. You can see the way I'm measuring. I'm measuring 41, which is the length that we want. 41. this is what we have. Now I'm going to cut this out. Now to this length you can add your hemming allowance. I did not add it because this is just paper and I don't want to just waste it. So you can add your hemming allowance of 1 inch or 2 inches depending on what you want. So now I've cut this. You can see this part, this is where we're going to cut it, but I'm not going to cut it because it is just a paper. Now this is the what we need to join to this part to complete this. Now using my Ankara, I'm going to place it on top of this, ½ inch on top of the one that is not complete. That is how I'm going to place it. You can decide to place it complete, you can decide to place it half, but make sure that right side is facing right side, just the way this one is facing the other. Okay, so once I have a thing like this, I'm going to pin it down this way and turn it to the other side so that I can actually see what I want to cut. And on this part, I'm just going to cut it round, following the part that is complete. Like I said before, you need to pin this down so that you'll be able to turn it and it will not move. So I'm just going to cut it. It's already unfolded and it's not starting from the beginning. Okay, so around this part you might have an excess. All you have to do is just to trim it out. Like all you need is just ½ inch on top so that you can actually join the two of them together. If you're not seeing this the way it is, you can just open it up. You can see that it is round this way. This is the lower part and this is the part that is placed on top, right? So all we have to do is to put the two of them together. I use pin to hold it. Put them together this way and join it to where it stops. We'll join it to where it stops and our measurement is complete. Okay, our measurement is complete. So for the back, this is just the front. I said we're adding zipper allowance to the back. So for the back, we're going to fold another fabric into two and place this on top of it, leaving 1 inch by the side for our zipper allowance. So for the back, we fold the way we folded this, not minding if it's going to be complete or not. Of course, this is how we're going to complete it. And then we're leaving 1 inch zipper allowance by this side. Okay, this is the part that is closed. 1 inch zipper allowance so that the zip is going to be on a straight line, right? Then on this part, we're going to tear it open. This will be the side that will be fixed side by side. This is the zipper area, the part that is quite straight. Okay, and so with this, we are done cutting our 180-degree flay Ankara long skirt that is so beautiful the way you want it. Of course, we are cutting this way. Okay, so I hope you learned something from this video. Please give it a thumbs up, share it, make a comment. Let's know if you actually understand or not. See you in our next class. Bye. Okay, now what I did was to cut 1 yard of fabric. I've cut 1 yard and I divided the 1 yard into two to make it ½ yard. I used the 45, put them together and attached it to this part, to the lower part here. This is the 45, the length of the Ankara, so I extended it more, right? You can see where I joined it. I extended it more so that it becomes longer. So at this point now, I'm going to fold this fabric into two using the length of my skirt, which is 57. I'm just going to add 1 inch more to make it 58 for hemming allowance. So make sure I fold and have 58. Or if I think it's going to be depending on your measurements. So I'll measure it to be sure it's the 58 that I have. If it's not up to, I'll measure again. So once I have this, I'm going to form a triangle folded into two. I'm going to form a triangle this way. So now that we've done this, like I was explaining before, if you're going to be doing your circumference divided by 3.14, all you have to do is to measure from here to get to where your answer is. And we're going to be marking 12.5, right? So I'll mark 12.5, 12.5. And if we're going to be making our circumference divided by 4, because this is folded into 4, we're going to be placing it here. Our circumference is 40 divided by 4. We're placing it where we marked, and we are having 10. You see the way I placed it? Look at what is here. I have 10. So they are just the same thing, okay? They are just the same thing. So from here now, I'm going to take the length of my skirt. This is where the mark is. So from here, I'm going to measure what is the actual length of my skirt, which is 45 or 46 if I want to add 1 inch extra to it. Okay, and if I'm taking it from the up here, I'm going to be measuring 56 or 57, okay, depending on what you want to measure. So I'm going to just take it all the way down. So I believe you know how to mark this for your play. I'm just going to keep mute and mark it.